Hello and happy Tuesday. Today, go into Google Classwork and go to 9/29/2020, and you'll see an assignment on compound sentences. Another reminder here to make sure to turn in your work when you're finished. Make sure and come back to Google Classroom and hit turn in. If you click on the slide presentation, of course, everything is embedded within the presentation. Today we're going to learn about compound sentences. So as soon as this loads up, we will get started. We only have two things today. Look at that, y'all. Just two slides today. What? Okay. So let's get started so we can finish. Of course, you want to do your daily attendance. If you have not done it already, it's only required one time a day. Make sure that you are doing it in all classes, every period. Even if you don't attend the Zoom class or the Google Meets class, make sure and go in and sign in because that's how your attendance is counted. Today, I provided to you a Nearpod lesson. So you will click on this link. It'll go to Nearpod. Notice though, number 3 says, when you finish, go to Google Classroom and turn in. So go to Nearpod. Nearpod is a lot like PowerPoint, and PowerPoint is a lot like slides. They're kind of all similar. Of course, PowerPoint is older, and then there's slides, and Nearpod came along, and they have all these new features that you can use with Nearpod. Um, Hopefully, we will be doing more Nearpod lessons soon. Now, this says my name up here. I don't think yours will, but go ahead and type your first and last name here and then click Join Lesson. You should not need any codes. Okay, so today we're talking about using commas in compound sentences. Let me see. I don't know if it has it to where I can do the sound quality or not, but anyway, I'll just have to keep on keeping on because I'm scared to make that go away. Okay, so Nearpod has a new feature. It's called an emergent reader. And if you see this little icon up here, it will read to you what this says. So if you are having trouble with any part of this, you can click on one of those emergent reader icons. It's taking a minute, probably because I'm presenting. Maybe we'll do it on another slide that's more complex. How about that? And you're just going to go through, what's this one? Okay. I don't know what that, okay. You're just going to go through the lesson. So it's using commas in a compound sentence. And I'm going to click the next button. The objective today is 710 DVIII, and it's punctuation, including commas, to set off words, phrases, and clauses, and semicolons. Today we will review simple sentences, conjunctions, compound sentences, and how to use a comma in a compound sentence. By the end of this lesson, you are to be able to take two simple sentences and create a compound sentence using your grammar and mechanics rules, and those are located in your materials section of Google Classroom. I want to see if this decides to work now. Maybe not. But I did record it down here. So if anything that's read here, you can also hear me down here that I've recorded it. So I'm going to move on since I've already read it to you. What is a simple sentence? And we've been talking about this a little bit this week. So it says a simple sentence is a sentence that makes a complete thought or idea and contains at least one subject, which is the noun or the topic part, what the sentence is about, and one predicate, which is the verb part, what they do. To review, it says a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. There are two types of nouns. There are common nouns and proper nouns. Proper nouns are specific and should be capitalized. Common nouns are generic or not specific. For example, school is a common noun. It could be any school, so it's not capitalized. Reed Middle School is specific. Notice all parts of the name are capitalized, not just Reed. A verb is typically an action word, but can also be called what they say a state of being word, like be, been. Those aren't showing action, but they are verbs. For example, here are some nouns: dog, Riley. That one's capitalized because it's a specific name. Princess, Miss Grother. Again, we're capitalizing. Computer, chips, Fortnite, capitalized. Video games, water, dream. Action verbs are things like sing, dance, kick, jump, write, stand, bark, cook, listen, strive, play, think, and submit, like when you submit your lesson when you're finished. The state of being verbs are verbs like is, are, was, were, am, be, have, and can. Those are some examples. Remember, you must have a noun and a verb for a complete sentence, and it must make a complete thought. Incomplete sentences are called fragments. We did those yesterday. So a complete sentence would look like this: I am doing my lesson plans. I is the subject, am doing is the verb. What am I doing? I'm doing my lesson plans. Who are we talking about? Me, right? And then a fragment would look like this: doing my lesson plans. I'm not telling you in this sentence who is doing the lesson plan or what is doing the lesson plan, so it's incomplete. There's not a subject listed. Okay, here we go. What's a compound sentence then? A compound sentence is when you combine two independent clauses or two simple sentences. In order to properly connect the two, you must use a contraction and a comma. You know contractions. Contractions are fanboys. This should sound somewhat familiar. So you would have like basically one sentence here and then a comma and one of these fanboys. See how it spells fanboys? And then it would connect to another sentence. Commas. A comma is a punctuation mark used to separate words or groups of words in a sentence. Remember, when you are reading to come to a comma, you need to briefly pause. There are many different ways to use commas. Today, we will be practicing rule number 7. This is what your grammar and mechanics rules look like that are in your materials in Google Classroom. If you go down to number 7, it tells you to add a comma in a compound sentence. That's what we're doing today. Watch this video to better understand when to use fanboys.
Coordinating conjunctions are small words that connect two independent parts of a sentence. We can remember them with the acronym FANBOYS. For, and, nor, but, or, yet. So, take a minute and memorize them. If you know these words, you'll avoid a lot of comma errors. Fanboys are connectors, and here are some notes on punctuation. If fanboys are connecting two words or phrases, you don't have to use a comma between them. The office party will feature cupcakes and lobster. Commas are also not required if the fanboy connects two verb phrases. We can either order lobster or stay within our budget. If the fanboys are connecting items in a series, use commas between each item. The accounting department will probably recommend cupcakes, celery sticks, and water. If the fanboys connect independent clauses, however, insert a comma after the first clause and before the fanboy. Jane will bake some decoy cupcakes, and Larry will sneak in the lobster. Remember that an independent clause is basically just a sentence. You can't mash two sentences into one sentence without something between them. That's when you get run-on sentences. Divide them using one of the 7 fanboys. Now, there are lots of subordinating conjunctions, but there are only 7 coordinating conjunctions, the fanboys. Remember that coordinating conjunctions connect clauses of equal strength, and when they do, they need a comma. Casey is an introvert, yet he actually likes office parties. Do these fanboys need commas? Practice punctuating these examples. Office parties tend to be boring, awkward, or awesome. Yes, use commas in a series. Let's hope Larry and the boss don't get into a fight over the lobster. And is a fanboy, but it's connecting 2 nouns. No comma. Casey loves cupcakes, but he doesn't like lobster. The fanboy but is connecting 2 independent clauses. Use a comma. Larry breeds genetically modified lobsters after he finishes his workday. No comma needed here. After isn't one of the fanboys. It's a subordinating conjunction, not a coordinating one. So learn the fanboys and use them confidently.
Okay, so that's how to use fanboys. And then this is how you can figure out which fanboy to use. Here's fanboys, and this gives you another word that you could substitute in because for kind of sounds a little fancy when you use it in a sentence as a fanboy. And we're used to. It means and in addition to. So, for example, Sam drank some water. That could be a sentence on its own. He was thirsty. That could be a sentence on its own. I'm going to use for here just for the simple fact that I could replace it with because. So if I said Sam drank some water because he was thirsty, to make this a compound sentence, which they will be looking at for STAR test on writing, I'm going to add that comma, and instead of using because, I'm going to use for. So these are your other words that you could use that will give you hints on which fanboy to use. This seems easy. So let's say I have 2 simple sentences and I'd like to combine them. Here's what you need to do. This house is too small. This house is too expensive. See, this is a little wordy and repetitive. I can use a fanboy and combine the two to make just one better written sentence. This house is too small, comma, here's my fanboy, and too expensive. And just like that, I've created a compound sentence. You know what's next? Time for you to practice. On the next slide, you will see a word bank, and it's your fanboys and some sentences. Click and drag the correct fanboy to the blank in each sentence. Basically, you will use the words in the word bank and complete the fill in the blank sentences. So here's your fanboys I want you to use down here. No, they're not going to be in order. I was not that kind to you. but these are your sentences. So number 1 says, and go ahead and do them as I read them. You down here, by the way, you have so, yet, and, or, but. So let's think about what fits good in this sentence. Number 1 says, I earned a sticker. It went on my chart. I earned a sticker, blank, it went on my chart. And you're just going to click and drag. Just click, oh, I don't know where, oh, okay, there it is. Click and drag. Number 2 says, I wanted a soda. I drank water instead. I wanted a soda, blank, I drank water instead. Number 3, do you want to go to the park? Would you rather see a movie? Do you want to go to the park, blank, would you rather see a movie? Number 4, I finished my homework. I went outside to get fresh air. I finished my homework, blank, I went outside to get fresh air. Number 5, she was hungry. She didn't know what she wanted for dinner. She was hungry, blank, she did not know what she wanted for dinner. Remember, you're just clicking and dragging, put it on the little black square and it will stay. And then when you're finished putting them all in a place, click done. Mine says, hey, Miss G, you didn't answer any of yours, so you got them all wrong. Man, but I didn't want to give you the answers. That wouldn't be any fun. So I'm going to close that, and then I'm going to move on. It does score it, and I do need to see those scores, so make sure you get that done. The next thing you're going to do is a Google form. It's creating compound sentences by using a comma. Your directions say, use FANBOYS and grammar and mechanics rules to help determine how to combine the two simple sentences. First thing you need to do is type your first name, then type your last name, then today's date. If you click on the calendar, it'll bring it up automatically. Now, I'm recording this on the 28th, but yours should be highlighted the 29th, and you'll click on the 29th, and it'll automatically put it in there. And then what time is it? I can look down here and see what time it is and just put it in right there. Okay, number 1, figure out which is the best way or the correct way to add the comma with a fanboy. Jalen was afraid of heights. He climbed back down the ladder. Is it the first one? Jalen was afraid of heights, so he climbed back down the ladder. Remember, when there's a comma, we're going to pause. So I'm going to pause every time I see that comma. The second one, Jalen was afraid of heights, yet he climbed back down the ladder. Or Jalen was afraid of heights, so he climbed back down the ladder. I know that this one is incorrect because it didn't even sound right when I paused right here. Jalen was afraid of heights so that he climbed back down the ladder. That didn't make any sense to me. I know that when I have my two simple sentences and I'm combining them, this period is going to become the comma. So this first one is incorrect. I also know that I have two fanboys here, and I have to do the one that makes most sense. So if I use yet, that means I'm going to do the opposite, which makes it sound like if Jalen was afraid of heights and he was going to do the opposite, he would have kept going up the ladder, and that's not what this says. Let's look at this one. Jalen was afraid of heights, so he climbed back down the ladder. I think that one sounds correct. So I'm going to mark that as my answer. The rest you're going to do on your own, but I'll read them to you. 2. Zakiah went outside to chill with her friends. Then it started to rain. Zakiah went outside to chill with her friends, but then it started to rain. Zakiah went outside to chill, with her friends, but then it started to rain. Zakaiah went outside to chill, or then it started to rain. Number 3, Aaron couldn't decide what video game to play. He let his little brother choose. Aaron couldn't decide what video game to play, so he let his little brother choose. Aaron couldn't decide what video game to play, for he let his little brother choose. Aaron couldn't decide what video game to play, so he let his little brother choose. Number 4, LaKayla went fishing for the first time. She caught 8 fish. LaKayla went fishing for the first time, so she caught 8 fish. LaKayla went fishing for the first time, and she caught 8 fish. LaKayla went fishing for the first time, and she caught 8 fish. Number 5, Kevin agreed to play catch with his little sister. He got tired very quickly. Kevin agreed to play catch with his little sister, but he got tired very quickly. Kevin agreed to play catch with his little sister, but he got tired very quickly. Kevin agreed to play catch with his little sister, but he got tired very quickly. Number 6, Joseph practiced football every day. He did much better at his next game. Joseph practiced football every day, yet he did much better at his next game. Joseph practiced football every day, nor he did much better at his next game. Joseph practiced football every day, and he did much better at his next game. Number 7, on Saturday, Stephanie went to her grandma's house. She picked some flowers for her. On Saturday, Stephanie went to her grandma's house and she picked some flowers for her. On Saturday, Stephanie went to her grandma's house and she picked some flowers for her. On Saturday, Stephanie went to her grandma's house for she picked some flowers for her. Number 8, it took Sky a long time to read the book. She enjoyed it. It took Sky a long time to read the book, so she enjoyed it. It took Sky a long time to read the book, nor she enjoyed it. It took Sky a long time to read the book, but she enjoyed it. Number 9, Christian enjoys the summer most. Reese prefers the spring. Christian enjoys the summer most, and Reese prefers the spring. Christian enjoys the summer most, so Reese prefers the spring. Christian enjoys the summer most, but Reese prefers the spring. Number 10, Jamel wanted to buy a motorcycle. He bought a car instead. Jamel wanted to buy a motorcycle, and he bought a car instead. Jamel wanted to buy a motorcycle, but he bought a car instead. Jamel wanted to buy a motorcycle, so he bought a car instead. When you finish, click Submit, and then keep going. Okay, let me hear your thoughts. This is a collaboration board, and I want to hear from everyone. Post whether or not you feel this makes sense. Remember, you may also like someone else's post by clicking the heart on their post. So I might put something like, Oh, you know what I did there? I have a fanboy in my response, and I didn't even think about it. I think I know it pretty well, but I may need more practice, and I'm gonna post it, and when I post, it'll pop up here. And then if you like what I put, you can go and put a heart or click the heart. It's kinda like a like, okay? So I want everybody to post at least one time, and then continue. And it says, "That's your lesson for today. Tomorrow you will have an assignment to see if you're able to remember what you were taught and if you understand it well. Your grammar and mechanics rules will still be available in the materials section. Enjoy the rest of your day or night, depending on what time you're doing this. Peace, y'all." And that's pretty much today's assignment. That's it. Nearpod will record everything for me. All you have to do is go back to Google Classroom, back to your assignment, but mine is different. I don't have a turn in button. But you would go back to your assignment, and I think up here somewhere it says turn in. So make sure and get that turned in. Okay, that's it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.